know,
Good evening, good evening. Welcome to the first episode of the 2025 season of the South Pod, where we talk about the stats and the stories from one of the most unappreciated divisions in the NFL, the NFC South. With me, I have my boy Corey, aka Kool-Aid. What's up, Corey? Got
How we
Will
doing?
with me, aka Kratos. Got a War, and my boy Telly at the bottom, Frodo. What's going on, fellas? How's everybody New Year been so far, man?
It's been great.
Of course, you would say that. Of course, you would say that, man.
My birthday is January 1st, man. So yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, well, that's
Yep.
right. Happy belated birthday once again, man. So I know you pretty much turned up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
he
too
is.
much.
You looking like new money already. You looking like
Mhm.
new money. You looking like new money, man. Do any of you guys got any New Year's resolutions or goals set for yourself for 2025?
Yeah. Fire a lot of motherfuckers on our team.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay, yeah, man. I'm just looking forward, man. Just peace and prosperity, man, and just trying to make the best, out of this year, man. And hopefully we can get more than 5 wins for next season coming up. But man, let's get right into it, man. Right off the backs, man. Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the NFC South. Earlier, in the season we were talking about, Atlanta and Tampa Bay competing to win the NFC South, title. And towards the end, Tampa Bay was able to pull it out. So, how are you feeling, Corey? Being a Tampa Bay fan, man, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good, man. First of all, shout out to my boy Mike for getting that 1,000 yards, But I'm feeling pretty good. The defense showed up second half. As I always state, Moles don't do nothing until halftime, and that's what irks my soul. He won't adjust till halftime, but because he adjusts at halftime, these last 5 games, they've only given up 10 total points. So I guess I can't be mad at him, in that aspect. But I just wish he would, early game adjustments, they work better for my stress levels. But he don't do that. So we roll with it. Offense, we was looking pretty good. We started out flat, seemed like we couldn't get nothing going. I think Baker was pressing to try to get Mike them yards,
Yeah.
whatever, and Warren was feeding right into it. So the game was looking really sloppy for us on the offensive side. Like I said, the defense, man, yeah, they was holding New Orleans the field goal. I was impressed. They made, as usual, Bose makes Rattler or any other quarterback on the come up look like they are top tier QBs. So it was like we couldn't stop nothing. But they got together, and overall, you asked me how I feel. I feel good, man.
Okay, as you should. I mean, you guys gonna be representing the NFC South and hosting the game, which we'll talk about later. But I'm pretty sure, Telly, you were glued to the TV as well, man, watching probably. Oh, you wasn't? Oh, I know I was. I was watching both games, obviously for obvious reason. But I would say like you had a vested interest, just kind of see, how the game will play out, against the Panthers and stuff. But it didn't actually work out, in Atlanta's favor, although that was a hell of a game. But what are your feelings, man, as far as that game and Tampa Bay moving ahead as the NFC South champions?
Oh no!
Earlier, a few weeks ago, I already conceded unlike some people don't like to concede, but I conceded and gave the congrats to the Bucks. I didn't want us to go to the playoffs because at that point in the season, because that's a bad situation to put that rookie into. But I did like the fact of having 3 games to kind of let him get his chops wet and playing, because this time of year everybody is all prime. They are who they are, other teams. So there's a chance to see him come in, not play at all season, then really all season, and play 3 games and basically hold his own. That's a good look for us going into the season. So for me, I was looking at those games for a different reason. So when Kirk got benched, for me, that was the tale of season's over for us. So let's see what we got for next season. And that's all. Every game I was looking at was for that purpose. What does it look like?
Okay. You have something, Corey?
I got a question for Telly, but I think it'll come along the lines of when we talk later about moves in the off season.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask him then. It's dealing with Kirk.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, Will. Now we know. Tampa's the NFC South champions, and they'll be hosting the Commanders. Question to you, and I'm actually relay this question to everybody else on the panel as well. What does Tampa has to do, man? To get past the Commanders, and how far can they actually go in the playoffs, in your opinion?
They have to stop Jaden Daniels. And
he ran.
You have to pay your internet bill.
He ran.
Daniels just stopped you, bro. Hey, he ain't even playing it.
God, he ran.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pose that question to you, Telly.
It's going to be a battle of a game because, like Corey alluded to, it seems like Todd Bowles likes to adjust after halftime to what teams are doing to him. So he had to wait and see kind of what it is almost. And then he makes the corrections and changes. And the good thing about that is a lot of times this season, they start off slow, right? They don't try to put teams away. They have opportunity where they start up slow. And then but the thing about it is that they're going to play you all the way down to the last minute. So I think in that case, it's going to be a really good game. And usually the Bucs have an advantage at home in that heat, but it's much warmer in Tampa than it is in DC right now. So
yeah, absolutely.
so that's gonna probably be a good thing for them and them bones and them injuries they have. So I'm looking forward to be a good game, but they definitely I can't say keeping him in the pocket is gonna do it. Letting him run is gonna do it. He's just a dynamic player. I think what the Bucs have to do is limit their mistakes on their team first. So if they play mistake-free football, then it's their game to lose.
Okay. Hey, welcome to the show, Will. I'm gonna pose this question to you. I just talked to the other panel. What do you think the Tampa has to do to get past the Commanders, and how far do you think they can make it in the playoffs?
they are going to definitely have to step it up with the defense, man, because Jaden Daniels definitely has something to prove. So they're going to have to step it up. Bowles, being that he's a background is defense, he's going to have to get on his people in order for them to move to the next week of playoffs. So, but they got to be able to stop Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, no, I agree. What you and Telly, and I'm gonna get the core after this. I think they do definitely have to actually put a game plan together to stop Jaden Daniels. I also think that what's key for the Commanders. They got Austin Eckler back, and you put him with Brian Robinson in that backfield. That's a pretty formidable two-headed monster, just like Tampa Bay has as well. I think their wide receivers have to step up a little bit more. I mean, you got Scary Terry doing some things, and with the defensive backfield with Tampa, I think that could possibly create some issues. But they definitely got to put a solid game plan together towards Jaden Daniels if they plan or have any future as far as moving along out of the wild card race and trying to get deep into the playoffs to face any other NFC opponents. But what's your take, Corey? What do your team has to do, man, to get past Commanders, and how far do you think they can realistically make in the NFC playoff run?
All right, let me paint this picture for you. We got on this weekend coming up 4 teams that played week 1 matchups that's playing in the wild card for the NFC. We got us against the Commanders. We got Green Bay against Philly. Both are going to be great games. Tampa and the Buccaneers, we jumped out on them the first game. You know, we scored like 14 points in the first quarter, 7 in the second quarter. You know, then we started coasting, and the defense couldn't keep up. So quite naturally, we're not the same teams that we were in week 1. Both offenses got better, you know, and right now we're 4th in the league in scoring offense. They 5th in the league in scoring offense.
Mm-hmm.
For you know, both of us are in the top 10 in offensive stats for the team. But what's underlying issues that ain't nobody recognizing is Jaden Daniels. They snubbed Baker for the Pro Bowl for Jaden Daniels. Baker got way better stats than Daniels. No need for me to point them out, but we all know why. So you got that matchup. You got Mark Lattimore and Evans and Mike again. You know, even though I think Lattimore's on the injury report, but I'm sure he's gonna be up for this one. If he don't play no more, he's gonna be up for this one. So you got Mike and Marshawn. So I'm gonna say that's a wash. They cancel each other out. And like you mentioned earlier, Rich, McMillan, he's gonna be the X factor because I just put a little back up at tight end, and even though Plum he coming on doing this thing, our other tight end, he just started playing late in the season. So they're going to step up. But McMillan, he's been leading our rookies in receptions, TD receptions. And so he's going to be the X factor, in my opinion. We also got Winfield coming back in the secondary. He had a full practice today. So you mentioned Eckler and Robinson. They were there for the first game. But again, it ain't week 1. Our rushing offense got way better than week 1. It has.
Absolutely.
He's going to get off. I think he's going to do his thing. But Baker got another chip on his shoulder. And we like when Baker has a chip. We don't like when Baker's happy and they giving him all the props. So the fact that they snubbed him, he got something else to prove. I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, and that probably will be, you know, one of the storylines of many in that game, man. But one thing you said too, man, that's kind of key to me, and I don't think it's kind of going to even out. If you remember the Commanders game against Philly and Lattimore against Brown, Brown ate his ass up. I personally think Evans is a better wide receiver than AJ Brown. So if Lattimore doesn't get out there and play the way that he can actually play, Mike is going to eat. You know, Mike is actually going to eat. You know, Mike had another great season, which we're actually going to have a segue into it too. So I think all of these guys, you know, going to have a chip on their shoulder. But I'm looking forward to that game, man. I think it's going to be a hell of a game, man. To me, it's going to be too close to call, man. It's about who make the less mistakes, who will win that game. Although we say that Tampa should have the home field advantage, being, you know, in Tampa is a lot warmer in Tampa than it is in DC. But any given Sunday, man, anything can get out there and happen. And if those guys ain't actually, you know, playing and executing X and O's, we'll see who move on, man. But talking about Mike Evans, man, it was good to see the last play, you know, of the game. You know, he got the 9-yard reception to give him 11 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards, man. The only one other to do that was, you know, Jerry Rice. So the question, man, is coming straight to you, Telly, is Mike a first ballot Hall of Famer in your opinion?
That's tough, man, because recently these people who are voting people into the Hall of Fame, they move the goalposts when it comes to who they put in, right? First time ballot. So is he a Hall of Famer? I think that's an easier question, and my answer is easy, yes. First ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know. I don't know if the voters will look at Mike that way. He's not a flashy player, really. He just goes out, does his work. He's really quiet about his thing. You don't see him in the news and the media about it. He hasn't demanded trades or anything like that. He doesn't keep, causing any drama. And sometimes that takes eyeballs off of you, right? You're not that marketable player. and I think that plays a part into who's that first ballot Hall of Famer. You know, he's got my respect because he stayed with Tampa for all these years. He could have easily went to other places and probably got some more money and got into more of the limelight, but he stayed here. He does his work. He takes care of things in the community. So if I was on there, I would vote him in. But you know, looking at what we've seen recently, I don't think they'll give it to him. But he's definitely Hall of Fame.
What's your take, Will?
Yeah, I think he is, man. 11 straight seasons of 1,000 yards, bro. And only one other person has done that. So yeah, definitely in my book, yeah. Give the man his flowers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with you too, Will. And I mean, I think, you know, in my opinion, he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. And one of the things that you said, Telly, you know, he's not out there in the media with any negative publicity and stuff like that from a position what we call wide receivers divas. And he's not, you know, you don't see him in the news with a lot of negativity. So I think that bodes well in his favor when people are actually looking at like, okay, who do we want to represent the Hall of Famers when we're talking about top tier players? Who are we going to make this next bus resemble? And I think, in my opinion, man, that because of some of the stuff that he does off the field, and you don't hear no drama, and what he's done on the field, 11 consecutive, you know, seasons with 1,000 yards, I think he'll be a first, you know, ballot Hall of Famer. If he has some of the annex, like a T.O. with all this shit, then I would say no, but he doesn't. And T.O.'s a Hall of Famer, so yeah.
Before you go to Kool-Aid, one more thing. I also like the fact that he's quiet with everything. You don't know any moves that he's making other than him going out there and playing. So
yeah, and that's something Telly mentioned as well too. Yeah, that's something Telly mentioned as well. What's your take, Corey?
He only like that when he's not playing Lattimore, Will. Other than that, yeah, he's a stand-up dude. My take is he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But the simple fact, him and Jerry Rice got the same record. So it seems. But if y'all really pay attention to the record, Mike is the number one. Reason being, Jerry rookie season, he got 985, not 1,000. After his rookie season, he went 11 straight. Mike, from the day he got drafted, walked
I got you.
1K. So they don't hold the record together. Mike has the record. Jerry even tweeted to him saying, "Hey, give him the GOAT title and welcome him to the GOAT team." So in my mind, I'm gonna be biased. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer. It goes about what you do on the field and what you do off the field, like y'all stated. He was so underrated because he did everything the right way, and I think that they're going to reward him for that. He's going to be rewarded for being that type of receiver. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in Tampa for sure, in the Ring of Honor. So yeah. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, the reason why I said it, man, it's like he has what, 2 rings?
No, he got one as of right now. Maybe one coming though.
All right, so how many rings does Jerry got?
5,
I believe.
All right, so that's what I'm talking about, and we know how it goes, right? People could have all the stats, numbers of catches, and all that stuff, but if you're only producing 1 ring, you know, versus 5 rings.
Hold up, now. Let me be clear. Before somebody go out there and say I'm capping, in no way am I saying Mike better than Jerry.
Right. We got that. We got that. You were strictly talking about the number of seasons with 1,000-yard, you know, receiving yards. So for that, I get that. The crazy thing is, about a month and a half ago, man, I was in DC and coming down the elevator from happy hour, and guess who walks in the elevator? Jerry Rice.
Nice.
I was like, oh, Mr. Rice.
Stand up.
Huh?
I said Mississippi stand up.
Right, yeah, man. So he's a cool, down to earth brother. He was by himself, not with a whole entourage of people or nothing like that. He was about to leave and walk around and find something to eat. So he was in Northeast DC at a hotel I would never expect someone like of his stature to be at. But yeah, he was there. Cool dude. Shook his hand, dapped him up, and rolled out. I'm not a picture person, so I don't do pictures with stars, but I dapped him up. But Yeah, that's the only reason I say he's not a first ballot. Maybe not, and it's not from me. If I was on the vote, I would vote for the ballot. But we know how these clowns are that vote.
Yeah, absolutely. But Thomas Hill, man, I mean, I think, he has the numbers that's very comparable to guys that's already in the Hall of Fame. And I think, at the end of the day, when he's eligible, I think that, his name will be on that ballot for sure. But let's shifting gears, man. Obviously, Atlanta, New Orleans, and the Panthers, we didn't make the playoffs, and we need to start focusing on next year. And Tampa will actually start to focus as well once everything is over and done with them. But for us right now, what key off-season moves, man, do you think we need to make, for our teams to be more competitive? Not only in the NFC South, but just in the NFL and the NFC in general. And I'm gonna start that off with you, Telly. What moves? I see you got your hand up, Corey. But what moves? What's up? You got something to add to Mike or this right here?
No, to this. I want to say something before Telly say something, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
We talking about moves. Do you think they should fire the offensive coordinator? Reason being, Kirk just came off an ACL, and the way he was calling plays or whatever, Kirk couldn't deliver on what he was calling, and it's kind of his fault as an offensive coordinator for not adjusting.
I will blame. I mean, y'all, we can obviously go back and look at the tape from earlier this season on this podcast. So if y'all watching this live, make sure y'all go back and check out some of those other shows to see and validate what we be talking about. But I've been early in the season. I was highly on that dude neck on the offensive coordinator. Before the season started, I wasn't high on him or our defensive coordinator. And throughout the season, I asked for both of them jobs to be given up. So I agree in some aspects that some of the stuff he was calling was not the best for Kirk in his situation. But what it is I also roll that up to the head coach, right? So the head coach knows who y'all went out and a quarterback, know what he does, know what he can do based off the injury he just came off of, and you sit there and allow your offensive coordinator to continue to do what he did. And then you as a defensive coach yourself, you sit there and watch this dysfunction on defense and don't make any moves at the trade deadline. You talking about how you are to Fontenot and y'all just getting started. I was not critical of Raheem Morris until the last 3 games, and I watched how he managed the game. There's things in there we could have won or had a better chance of winning or a chance of winning by him simply just using timeouts in the right spot. And that's rookie type stuff. That's new head coach, never been a head coach before, but he's been there, done that. He's been around some great coaches, Jay and Dan Quinn, and that's the best that he can pull from that. That's crap. So, in my opinion, to answer your question, Rich, is our moves is we need to get. I'm hard pressed to give up on a coach after 1 year, but those last 3 games really had me perturbed about our coach and his ability to manage and handle the situation. And then one game he threw the offense under the bus on a press conference. Second game, the last game, he threw the defense under the bus on a press conference.
Yeah.
Defensive-minded coach. It's on you. So yes, I think we need a new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and potentially a new head coach, in my opinion. As far as the players on the field go, we got some shell gaming to do to figure out which one of those players on 1-year contract we're going to keep and try out again next year. But I think the decision that the coaching position needs to be solidified first before we make player moves. In the draft, we definitely need an edge. We need an edge back. We have a couple of cornerbacks need an edge, and I wouldn't mind picking up another wide receiver as well. But for sure, our biggest need is edge, and our second biggest need is cornerback, because whenever he's out of the game, I'm not sure. 22, he kills us every game. So that he had to be the the start. So we definitely need help there to be better.
Okay. Will,
Yes, sir.
what moves the Saints need to make, man, in order to be competitive, in the NFC South and the NFL? I saw something today. They were talking about getting rid of doing a complete,
Yep.
overhaul by getting rid of Carr, Taysom Hill,
Yes.
Cam and Jordan, and a couple other players,
You're
man.
stealing my
So,
thunder.
in your opinion, man, not trying to steal your thunder, but in your opinion, man, what moves you guys need to make, man, to actually be more competitive next year in the NFC South and then in the NFL as a whole?
All right, I got a couple of things I wrote down. For starters, head coach. I don't know if y'all saw it, but we're either Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn from Detroit. That did come up. That's probably going to help us the most. I don't. Rizzy, when he coached us, we played teams that actually had a non-winning record and we beat them. But when it came to bigger teams, we got mollywopped. So definitely we need a head coach. General manager, Loomis got to go. That way we can open up our cap, because right now we're over our cap by I want to say 50 mil. We're over our cap. We are over our cap. And we need to hire a coach from outside the damn organization. It's too much friendly shit going on. We need to damn reach out. I'm serious. It's the truth. Everybody want to be friends. Fuck that. I want to win. So no. We don't need to waste our damn pick on a QB. Rattler is showing what he's capable of. We need to go with a younger offensive line, and a younger defensive line. We have 8 players on the team that's 29 years old or older and has double-digit cap that can be moved. Stop wasting our money on veterans. That's another damn thing. That shit got to stop, because we will always go look for a broken motherfucker and trying to fix it. Stop that shit. We need to stop that shit. And stop spending money when we can fucking spend draft picks. Like, seriously. And that way we can save money for the damn, for our draft. Stop spending money and use draft picks. So that's where I'm at, bro. And hopefully with that, because we are definitely in the rebuilding phase. 5 and 12. Y'all know my I had said I just wanted to be 8-8. Yeah, that I'm all 9-7, 9-8, something like that at the beginning. But nah, this needs to stop. Stop going get broken motherfuckers and trying to fix it. Let's start revamping everything. Get rid of the old motherfuckers and bring in some new blood.
Okay. Yeah, I still think, I mean, I agree. You have to get rid of some of those actually veteran players on there. I do think that you do need some type of veteran presence in that locker room on the offensive side as well as the defensive side. But do you think getting rid of Derek Carr and actually, pushing Spencer Rattler in the forefront as the QB1, is that the right move? And do you think Spencer Rattler can handle that actually task as being, the perennial face of the face of the franchise as a quarterback, given the history of some of those quarterbacks that played in New Orleans?
I think if we give him the opportunity for us to build around Rattler, we can. We got to get rid of Megamind, aka damn Derek Carr, because like I said, bro, like for instance, he didn't even want. And I get it. Everybody's trying to make their money, but we asked, hey, can you take a pay cut? He was like, nah. All right. Bet. We'll fix that. Your ass is going to be a secondary. Fuck you twice on Sunday. Hey, it is what it is. Hey, you don't want to take it? That's cool with us. Cool, because again, I'm a Saints fan, not a Derek Carr fan.
I got you.
Show him again, dog.
Yep.
I got you. When I actually look at it, as a Carolina Panthers fan, and I'm gonna get to Corey after this, there's a lot of needs that we gotta address, and it's like, damn, where do you start? One of the things I thought about is initially in the season, quarterback depth. Bryce got out there, didn't perform well. He got pulled for the Red Rocket. The Red Rocket got in there, did some things. Then he got hurt in a car crash. And then you had the kind of emergence of Bryce Young. towards the end of the season where he did a lot of good things that you look at and you say, damn, you know what? This is what we've been wanting all along, so we can actually build around him. However, I still think that we got to have some type of quarterback depth. You know, Andy Dalton is actually up on his contract, but I do think they'll probably sign him to maybe a 1-year deal or something short term, just to still have him in that locker room, still to provide that guidance, you know, to Bryce Young, and also as a security blanket if something actually happens to him. But I do think at some point in time we do need to go out there and try to actually get more depth at quarterback. We got to shore up the offensive line, you know, a little bit, and they played well towards the end of the season, and particularly against Atlanta, where this was the first game that they didn't even give up a sack. So that was actually something to look, you know, to build upon. It's like, damn, you know what? As long as we actually keep Telly saying no, because the defense is actually probably shitty. But I'm
Man, if y'all building off of that, then you got more problems than you really realize.
No, I look at it like this, man. Everybody that's on that field is an NFL player. And they have the God-given ability to be out there for a reason. They're getting paid. And if they can't get out there to do their job, that's a different story. However, they still actually sporting and, you know, representing that logo. So the hell with that. I'm going to take the positives out of it. That game and that offensive line played well, whether it was actually the second strings or whatever.
The only positive you got was a win, brother. So
I think it was a lot more than that.
You better leave it right there.
I do think we do need to shore up the offensive line up a little bit. We got to get some edge rushers, like Will said, man. We got to kind of get rid of some of these old people and stop bringing them in there just for the sake of, like, you know, just saving face and thinking that you're going to generate some type of revenue, i.e. Jadeveon Clowney, being that, you know, he from South Carolina, played ball at South Carolina. You bring him there, you think that's going to sell tickets, and, you know, it does, but hell, he's on the last leg of his career, in my opinion. So we got to bring an edge rusher in there to be able to match up with Derek Brown if he comes back healthy and be able to stop that run, because we were dismal in run defense. So we have to shore up that, man. And I think if we can do those things and also look at, you know, what we're going to do with safety, because we're probably going to lose, you know, our safeties this year, and actually Shaq Thomas, our linebacker, too. So it's so many needs that we need to address. And hopefully with the move that Dan Morgan made, you know, as a general manager, with some of these trades that I was looking at, like, what the fuck? It all pays dividends, you know, with the draft and, you know, the off-season moves. Now, going over to Corey, I mean, you guys are focusing on the playoffs, but what are some of the moves you think you guys need to make, Corey, in order to come back to defend that NFC South title and, you know, potentially, you know, move towards you know, making a Super Bowl run if your guys don't do it this year?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I think we need to do. Then I'm gonna tell you what I would like for us to do. Everybody mentioned pass rushers, DNs. So I'm gonna go with the status quo. That's what we really need. And I think we need another solid corner. Hell, we need a solid corner and another linebacker. We need it all on defense, because everybody that's there is not performing the way I expected. So we'll see what happens with that. What I would like for us to have is we sign one of these DEs in free agency, because Max Crosby ain't gonna be with the Raiders, I do not think, because they fired their coach. They basically
Antonio Pierce gonna know.
Right. Myles Garrett already said he gonna talk to the front office and see what's up with them, you know, whatever. So that's yeah, he do. You know, I would like to snag one of them prime defensive ends. We do that, I think we can compete again next year. We don't have too much, in my opinion, that needs to be addressed on the offense.
What about safety?
You know, at safety, Winfield, you right, Telly. That's what I said. The secondary, you know, Winfield, he robbed us. He robbed us. Winfield robbed us.
Ain't nobody on this podcast been robbed more than we have, so y'all can't even say robbed, right? That's just
so if we was to go that route, Rich, I think we'd be pretty fair, you know, in competition next year, because the key thing, though, is to sew up what the hell we're gonna do between Bowles and Cohen. Now, Cohen already got some interviews. Jaguars got him on their list of head coaches they going after. I noticed the whole Jaguars interview list was offensive coordinators. So that trend probably gonna keep up. But yeah, once we sew up Liam, because he already said, he would like to be a head coach, but that's not his focus right now. And I believe him because he sucked at Kentucky as a head coach when he left being an assistant. He in a good place right now. So I believe the Glazer family already got a plan for him to take over for Bowles once he steps down.
Bowles ain't going nowhere.
I said once he steps down. I already conceded. Y'all said he's staying, so I'm like, all right, we got to roll with him. But there's no way you let Liam get out the door. You don't do that.
That'd be huge, man. If y'all can get Max Crosby or a Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett. I think he played maybe a year or so with Mike Evans at Texas A&M. I'm not entirely sure. I know they both went there, but that'd be sort of an actual reunion. That'd be huge for that defense. But I think with all of us, as representatives of the NFC South, man, there's a lot of key moves that we need to make in order to be competitive and have better records as indicative of what I think should have been better play from all our teams. We all had high expectations. We came up a little bit short. But hopefully in the offseason, we're able to make these key moves to actually put our teams in position to make a real serious run towards the chip next year. With that, man, we'll mention that looking at Aaron Glenn as a potential coach for New Orleans Saints, man. And it was interesting. I heard something earlier today on the news, and actually yesterday too. They're talking about DEI hires and stuff just across like the nation as a whole, and they're cutting back. And like I was like, damn, that's kind of funny too when you actually see that. And you ask, Antonio Pierce, you get rid of Gerard Mayo.
Yep.
And New England after one season, and you also get rid of the GM in Tennessee.
Right.
So I was like, damn, man. I was like, are we cutting back with the DEI hires on everything? So when you mentioned Aaron Glenn, I'm not sure, man. If this might be a good year for the diversity hires and stuff, man. But when I looked at the Antonio Pierce thing, man, I was like, I got to think. I was like, damn, man, was that actually there? I mean, Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo. Do you guys in y'all opinion think that was actually fair and that was the right move by those organizations, or you think it's some other bullshit going on? Will, you shaking your fingers. So what's up, brother?
What did I say halfway into the season about the Raiders? I want y'all to tell me. When y'all looked at me and told me I was fucking crazy, what I told y'all. I
honestly don't remember. We were having a bad season, so I was drinking pretty much every episode. So you have to remind me.
I was going to say that, refresh my memory.
Okay, so remember we said what coach y'all thought was on the chopping block, and I said, "Oh boy, from the Raiders." Y'all was like, "You smoking crack?" No, 2 seasons. 2 seasons. In 2 seasons, he had a 9-17 record.
No, it's technically his first season.
Yeah, this is his first full season.
His first full season, but that's what they're looking back at. They were looking at that, and that's why they went ahead and did what they did. I'm some other stuff too. What we don't know.
That's straight bullshit, man. Because we know, and I think there's a few analysts of both shades have made it very clear that Gerard Mayo's firing and Antonio Pierce firing was bogus. If they were lighter persuasion, they would have had one more season. That's real talk. Because the good and bad is from us as black people. I'm just gonna be frank about it. The good and bad about us as black people is that they put us in crap situations and they want us to always fix stuff and make it great, either as players, as coaches, as managers in the office, as Marines, as everything. Because we'll get there with our predecessor that was there and they was trash. They wasn't the same complexion as us, but they let them off. They gave them great ratings and everything. We come in, we're expected to turn everything around weeks, months, and make it all great, because that's what is expected from our people, because we do it time and time again. And so I think that for both that coach Gerard Mayo and for Antonio Pierce, they expected them to make their shit shine, and they couldn't do it. So yeah, you don't give them anything to deal with, and then turn your back on them and then fire them. I think it's bogus. And then for them to, especially for New England, to look at two other black coaches to come in, and you still haven't fixed the problem that's there. Is that the team is trash?
Yeah,
That's a trash team. You got a decent quarterback, but that's it. So yeah,
no, I agree with you, Telly, man. And like you said, man, with us melanin folks, and we actually have a level of success when we go out there and people expect stuff. And man, just like you say when you actually made a reference to the Marines, man, a good movie if you guys haven't saw that, and that's a very actually on topic with this. And I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Was the 6888? When they talk about the female regiment. Matter of fact, that's who the base is named after.
right.
With the female, they gave her 6 months to go out there and fix their situation. Feeling the same shit that Robert Kraft said, hey, we put Gerard Mayo in an unattainable situation. Well, he was going to feel. That's the same thing they did with this woman, but she was able to, actually thrive and actually be successful with that. And this surprised a bunch of people. So I think, just like you said, man, I think it was bogus. Gerard Mayo, you guys talked about him extensively, last year when you're looking at people to hire. There was some other names came up there, and that was your guy. And to say that, you put him in an unattainable situation and then fire him after 1 year, I think that's some bullshit. Antonio Pierce, man, I'm an Antonio Pierce fan, being when he played with the Giants and everything, man. I also think, that was unfair and, just to actually, put him on the stage at the Apollo and give him the Sandman and give him the hook, man, after giving, at least one more year to actually go out there and actually see what he actually can do, given the talent that he had. All your quarterbacks are getting hurt. Your defensive players are getting hurt. Like, you really have no talent on that field, and you expect them to go out there and actually win with this piecemeal of a team that you guys actually put together. Like, come on, Gardner missed you as your quarterback. And what's the dude with the little damn child molester mustache? What's his name? I can't even think of his damn name, but come on.
right.
That's
But
what you actually have leading the team.
and then you got how is it that tells you about a team where your tight end is a leading receiver on the whole damn team?
Absolutely.
He's your best
wild.
tight end.
That's wild. Big ups to Brock Bowers, though. Your UGA boy. Big ups to him. But what's your take, Corey?
If I own a team, if I'm the owner of a team or whatever, ain't nobody telling me how to move. If I feel you gone, you gone. It's really that simple. If I didn't sign you to a multi-year deal or something like that, and we gave you a year as the coach or whatever, and I ain't liking you, you gone. I don't care if you white or black or people say I'm doing it the wrong way or whatever. I'm the owner. So to answer your question, he got every right to let him go, regardless of what we think it was right. He got every right to do so. I'm sorry, they just do. I mean, I get it.
So you gave us your political answer, not answer.
Who I can't keep in my house. You're not coming to my house telling me who I nah.
So you don't give us your political answer. So now what's the black man's?
I'm black.
You don't own we ain't owning no damn team. So what's the real
it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't fair to them. How about that? Yeah, them. It wasn't fair to them. I don't know what conversation they had, but it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair.
So usually, man, when you see firings, they come in tandems. You're firing the head coach, you're firing the GM. So to keep the head coach in for Tennessee, who the GM hired, and fire the GM, that math don't make no sense to me either. Talking about the Tennessee Titans, and I know they made some bad moves, and I know they're talking about moving on, from Will Levis. But I mean, that was another one, man, to me. And I know he wasn't an actual coach, but that was just something to me that just ain't make no sense, especially after hearing, all this talk about DEI hirings and scaling back on it. What's up, Corey?
I answered your question and tell the question. I said it wasn't fair to them. And the reason it wasn't fair to them, Rich, because we didn't even address the Giants debauchery. Them two the coach and the GM didn't stay because they
My point exactly. So when you see things like that, and you're just like, damn man, you had a dismal record too, and over these seasons your record hasn't really improved. How do you still have a job after you said 6 seasons, Brian Daboll?
I'm joking. He's been there at least, I think, what,
3 or 4 years, something like that. But how do you still have a job, ain't do shit, and these guys are gone after 1.5 seasons and one complete season? Explain that to me, because that math truly doesn't actually make any sense. That ain't mathing at all. And the only thing that I can do, and I hate to actually do that when we trying to throw race into it, but you that shit's glaring.
Yep.
Like, it's glaring and it stands out. Like, these guys looking for a job. This guy still got some security, and they suck just as work. I guess firing Doug Peterson, but Doug Peterson been there a while. I guess that can balance it out. Hell no. He's supposed to go.
It supports what we're saying, is that the liar persuasion gets an opportunity to fail year in, year out. And Doug Peterson had a team. They had a team down in Jacksonville. They got good wide receivers. They got, Sunshine as a quarterback. This talent coming out of Clemson, and then he got good running backs and ETN and stuff. So defense, all these top number one draft picks, they had I think half their defensive line with one draft pick. So they got talent for a day and can't win nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, but they gave him year after year. Then you have, like you said, like Corey said, Ryan Daboll in New York. He done ruined poor Daniel Jones' career. That man gone. They allowed Saquon to get out the door, and now he's having a damn, historical career across the damn river from there. So it's like they allow them people to stay around and hang in and get abused. Chicago, another team. You done had all this talent, all this everything, and what have you got to show for it? Nothing. But he's still staying. He's still playing. He's still as a coach. So the list goes on of all these guys that continue to get opportunity the year after year to get things together. If you're a black coach, you only got 6 months.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But it's unfortunate, man. And hopefully Aaron Glenn, depends on how Detroit, despite how Detroit actually fare in the playoffs, hopefully Aaron Glenn does get an opportunity to get a shot at being a head coach. And hopefully Robert Saleh as well, who I think got fired unjust early in the season, also get another opportunity, man, to go coach. Because I think they're a hell of a coaches, man. But let's move into talking about some league standouts. To talk about who deserve what when it's that time of the season to actually to give out these awards. And one of the first awards I want to talk about, man, is like, who do you guys think, now that everything is coming to an end, who deserves the NFL MVP, in your opinion, and why? Starting with you, Will.
Toss up between Lamar and Josh Allen, and we've seen what Lamar has been doing. Lamar Jackson has been putting up numbers and doing what he's supposed to do. Same thing with Josh Allen. He's been putting up numbers as well. For MVP, out of them two, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
What about you, Charlie?
For me, it's Lamar. I'm torn. The numbers say everything about it says Lamar. He's putting up better numbers than he did his last two MVPs. But there's a stigma tied to a quarterback that has an MVP. They don't win Super Bowl. And I'd rather for that man to get a Super Bowl than MVP. So if I want to break that curse, I think that Saquon got crapped on by leaving him out the game and not letting him play to get that record, because I think that would have made him a serious contention for MVP. But I'll say this: I'll retract and I'll say Saquon should get MVP, but we know he got.
Yeah, typically we don't see a lot of running backs get the MVP, but I think what kind of actually did Saquon in is one, coming out that game early, where he could have set the season single rushing in a game, and that was admirable with him. It's like, hey, let these young guys eat. Also having Jalen Hurts as your quarterback and have double-digit 1-yard rushing touchdown that should have went to Saquon. So you're talking about another 11 touchdowns that Saquon should have had that Jalen Hurts got. And if he would have played that last game and broke Eric Dickerson's record, in my opinion, because I love running backs, he would have got the MVP, or at least he should have been, the front runner to get the MVP. But for me, man, the way the season played out, man, and just looking at the numbers, I would have to give it to Lamar Jackson. He's 6th in passing with 4,172 yards, 41 touchdowns, which is tied for the most in the league. Only 4 interceptions. He's 20th in rushing over a shit ton of other running backs that play the position. With 915 yards and an additional 4 touchdowns. And the way they played down the stretch, man, it kind of willed their team to win the AFC North. I'm going with Lamar Jackson. I mean, Josh Allen had a great team, but he doesn't. His numbers, in my opinion, is not comparable. When you actually put them side by side and say who should be the MVP. So if I had a vote, it'd be for Lamar Jackson. What about you, Corey?
I'm going with Josh Allen. And the reason I'm going with Josh Allen is because they got a saying out there, and I hate that this saying because it ain't true. He doing more with less. He lost his number 1 and his number 2 all-pro receivers. He lost them. Lamar gained Derrick Henry, a beast in the backfield. He gained his tight end Andrew back being healthy. Zay Flowers done continue to be, projecting upwards. And Bateman, the same. They got better. They automatically became the number 1 contender to the Chiefs or whatever. Nobody expected Josh them to be where they at. But because Josh them got some dogs over there, shout out to Khalil, they killing. So I'm gonna go with Josh Allen, but for the simple fact they left him for dead. They didn't think Buffalo was even gonna be in this position. We seen the team. They got better by signing Amari Cooper, to strengthen that wide receiver core or whatever. But they've been doing the whole thing this whole season, and Josh done put the team on his back, literally. So I'm gonna go with him. Lamar is turning into that LeBron syndrome, like, hey, you can get it every year, bro. That's really not impressive. Go get a ring. So I'm going with Josh.
Okay. Rookie of the year. On the offensive side, I think it came down to Bo Nix. I don't think that game against Kansas City, in my opinion, was indicative of anything. But it came down to Bo Nix and, Jaden Daniels, in my opinion. And I'm still going with Jaden Daniels, man, because I still think that, the things that he actually did for the Commanders were very impressive. I like, Dan Quinn, and I know Telly can speak a little bit more. Dan Quinn was their coach at one point in time, but I like the things that Dan Quinn done to actually put Jaden Daniels in that position. So once again, if I had a vote, that award would go to Jaden Daniels, my opinion. How say you, Corey?
I would go with Jaden Daniels too, man. His numbers speak for itself. Like I said, that first game he was filling things out, and even then, he had a productive game. So as you see it, you watch him progress through the season. That boy done played here before. He didn't play here before. The game done slowed down for him so much, man. I was watching the games. I'm in awe. I did not know he was like that. I would give it to Jaden. I don't even think Bo Nix is really close to him, in my opinion. I think Bo's a product of the system.
Yep,
I agree.
Yeah, that's all that is. That Jaden Daniels was running away with it and wasn't even close. No Drake May, no Bo Nix wasn't even close. And Bo Nix went on a little stretch there, and they tried to take that little small stretch and say that he was a competitor to Jaden. He's not. I'm sorry. So it's not even freaking close. It's, like Corey said earlier, you got a rookie that done snubbed Baker on the Pro Bowl. Is Bo Nix playing?
Yeah.
Don't all speak at once.
Nah, yeah, I'm with you.
I don't even think there's anybody else close. You had to break it down into categories for it to even be another standout, in my opinion, as far as the rookies. I mean, yeah, Bucky leading in rushing, but he's not close to Jaden Daniels at all.
Yeah, I think Bucky's having a great season. I think he's gotten better and better and better as the season gone along.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy for players to fly on the radar when no one knows about you. But then when they find out about you, there's enough game tape on you, and they still can't do anything with you. That's when you show your sign of greatness, in my opinion.
Okay. What about moving on to the defensive rookie of the year? I'm not sure if you guys paid a lot of attention to that, but one of the people that stand out to me, and we'll see them play this week, is Jared Verse, the linebacker from the Rams.
Yep.
That boy is a beast. So just looking at some of his tape in comparison to some of the other guys, I think once again my vote would go for Jared Verse. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I think Jared Verse is probably the perennial front runner right now. And also the Rams, won their division and then in the playoff, and huge parts of the things that their defense did. I mean, there were some actually really good offensive moments that, Matt Stafford and, Puka Nakua and those guys were able to do. But I think that defense is probably one of the reasons why they're in the playoff this year. And I think Jared Verse was a big part of that.
I can't. I won't push back on that.
Okay.
Either him or the
boy from Denver
is Kenyon Mitchell from the Eagles,
and then the old boy from Denver, Patrick Surtain.
Yeah. Well, you said from who? No, I agree with you, Kelly. The boy from the Eagles.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Patrick Surtain from fucking Denver. He has 4 interceptions and fucking 11 pass deflections. Patrick Surtain, the second.
Oh no, but he ain't a rookie though.
This ain't Surtain first year.
Yeah, this ain't his first year.
Oh, you said rookie. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, rookie.
Yeah. Will, what the hell, man? Surtain.
My bad. I was looking at something else. My bad.
I mean, maybe you can put Surtain when you're talking about, maybe the defensive player of the year. I mean, he wouldn't get my vote, but I mean, he had a good season, and I think in part because people don't throw to his side of the field. So quite naturally, if people are not throwing your side of the field, your number's going to be down a little low. But that's not. But I think that's indicative of who you are as a player. But if you want to talk about, defensive player of the year, I mean, man, there's a lot of guys out there that you can actually look at and say they rightfully should actually win that award. And for me, that's a toss-up, man. I mean, I like what Myles Garrett did on a losing team with Cleveland. I like what TJ Watt's been doing. Xavier McKinney. So it's been a lot, man. So I think it's a toss-up. I don't have a solidified, in my opinion, defensive player of the year. Because it can go either way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys have anybody that stood out to you that you said that should actually win that award. You have anybody that sticks out to you, Telly? Definitely nobody from Atlanta. So
no, you can take my whole defensive team stats and put them together, and they still ain't rookie as a defensive player.
Yeah.
But I mean, I knew that coming in. I knew it was a patch job. We had a stretch where everybody was getting excited about the defense. But when you really drill down to the numbers, those are teams that gave up sacks like crazy anyway. So, ain't nothing to be too proud about.
So, what about comeback player of the year? And one of the things I say, what are really the prerequisites for you to actually be nominated for comeback player of the year? And who should that award actually go to? One of the players I thought, that if he's eligible for was Sierra Wilson. Up in Pittsburgh for the things that he was able to do with that team. Although I mean they went on a little losing streak, but I thought that he had a really good year. But then I also thought about like, damn, what about damn Slim Shady up in Cincinnati?
Yes, I was just about to say it.
Joe Burrow, he had a hell of a year, man. If they had more wins, we'd probably be talking about him, as the MVP of the league with the numbers that he did, because he's leading the league in passing and touchdown. We could have been very well talking about him. So, what are some of the prerequisites as far as like to get you nominated as comeback player of the year, and who should that award go to?
Well, you did mention Joe Burrows. If you look at his stats, it's showing 70.6% passes completion, 4,918 yards passing.
Almost 5,000 yards for the season. I said almost 5,000 yards.
Almost 5,000 yards, yeah, and 43 fucking touchdowns. So, LSU.
I got a question about that, and it's the same thing I used to say when people used to hype up Jameis Winston for throwing 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, and he threw for like 4,500 yards or whatever. The team was losing. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
So when a team starts, when you behind, ain't no more running the ball. You ain't got no choice but to throw.
Yeah.
So them numbers are skewed. Like some of that is a little inflated.
Do you think so? Because they don't really have a running game, though.
Yes, I do think so. I think so. That's why I wouldn't put Burrow in the comeback player of the year. What is he coming back from?
What about Sam?
I don't know. That's why I'm just trying to. I didn't mean to cut you off, Telly, but that's why I was just asking what are those metrics, and I don't know if we can necessarily put them in there. So I'm not necessarily saying that he should win that award, but what are the metrics that they use to gauge, like, okay, who was actually the comeback player of the year? And I was just looking at the season that he had, and I can see why you said the numbers are skewed. They don't have a running game at all, but I don't know what all metrics go into saying that, outside of you coming back from an injury, you were a comeback player of the year. I damn sure wouldn't give it to Aaron Rodgers, even though he's coming back off an injury. Not the way that team played, and not the way you got all those coaches fired.
The way they play, he's injured.
If we was doing that, then Nick Chubb gets his hand down.
Okay, so that would be Nick Chubb. Okay,
hands down. If we were going by those metrics.
Okay, so Nick Chubb. Okay,
he ride with whatchamacallit. Chubb came back.
They Sam Darnold. They're throwing Darnold's name out there.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yep, that's a good one, Telly.
Now you see that too, Telly.
Yep, I can see that. I can see that. That's a good one.
The boy was trash. He came back from the depth of the bottom of the trash bin with the juice at the bottom underneath there. He came from all the way under there.
Yeah, that boy.
Say he said he was dry dumped juice.
That cat man, came back from the depths of the underworld to be a part of the boys. And he's showing his ass. So
you said the boys.
Yeah. You're a superhero.
Yeah.
So, I can see that. Okay. All right. That's actually a good pick. Sam Darnold. What about coach of the year?
I give it to the dude in Minnesota, man. I think it's a double Sam Darnold, comeback player, and whatever that dude can't remember his name up in Minnesota.
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, because they lost their drafted quarterback they thought was the answer to
JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, losing Kirk Cousins, and then they brought in a player like Corey said. He's been dumpster juice, dry dumpster juice all his career, and then this dude is for most of the season he was probably the lead for MVP.
Yeah, so that solidified, just dovetailing back. That solidified, my pick. Now we're talking about comeback player of the year because I forgot about JJ McCarthy was actually the starter and he got hurt. He would have been a starter, but he got hurt, and then Sam Darnold came in and did his thing. So Kevin O'Connell, say okay, be coach of the year. Okay, you agree with that, Will?
Yeah, that's what I think.
And you agree with it too, Charlie?
You mean Corey?
No, I thought Corey said it. Oh no, Corey just told you what his name was. Yeah, but Corey, what about you? So what about Dan Campbell, who beat the shit out of Minnesota last week? And the things that they did, you know, should he be up in consideration? Should Andy Reid be up in consideration?
Well,
Nope.
Yeah.
No, Andy Reid has support of the zebras, so we can't give him nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Campbell, he's coaching his behind off, but I think we've seen that show last year. The team is just back to where they were last year, so
Right.
I don't give him extra credit for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we done seen this show. It's a repeat. He didn't do nothing more than what he did last year when he really was, coach of the year. Should have been coach of the year, in my opinion.
And Minnesota was only supposed to win 6.5 games anyway. That's what was stated. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens when the awards come out. February, and see who get all those superlatives. But man, I'm looking forward to all the playoff games, man. So let's get into these picks, man. I'm not sure how we fared off, with the regular season as far as the wins. I think I won, but if I didn't, I mean, I was cheated. It was them DEI hires and shit. Y'all want to see Corey win, but it's all good. It's all good. But let's talk about these playoff picks, Sally. What we got?
It was too close to call, man, for the season. So we'll say it was a tie between you and Corey. Now, real talk, you won by 2 points. So for the picks for the playoffs, how y'all want to do it? Y'all want to go all the way to the Super Bowl, or you just want to pick week by week?
Week by week.
All right, cool. So the first two games on the 11th on Saturday, 4:30, then 8 o'clock. We got the Chargers playing against Houston in Houston at 4:30. Who y'all got?
I got it. Oh, Brian said that's a practice game for Houston. I mean for LA. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Wait a minute now. I'm going with your favorite quarterback, Telly, Justin Herbert, and the Chargers. I think the game that Quentin Johnson had last week. I think they're going to build upon that, and you got J.K. Dobbins back, and I think those boys carve up a dilapidated Houston team that doesn't really have anybody. They don't have a run game. Tank Dell is gone. Stephon Diggs is gone. So I mean, they got Nico, but yeah, I'm going with the Chargers.
Yep, Chargers it is.
All right. Chargers all the way around. Next game, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. This is the round 3 because they played early in the season. Pittsburgh got them at Baltimore. Then Baltimore went to Pittsburgh and beat the hell out of them. And so now it's back at Baltimore at 8 p.m. on Saturday. The tricky thing with this is Pittsburgh's been playing some suck ball the last couple games, man. So which Pittsburgh team we gonna see? Which rush we gonna see?
Yeah.
I say B more.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, man, and make an emotional pick because I remember Sierra Video's goodies when I got back from deployment, and that's just still in my mind. Man, and I think that man's gonna go out there and have a good game. So I'm gonna go with the Wilsons, man, on this one. I think Mike Tomlin find the recipe, man, to pull it out of their ass and win that game.
Kool-Aid, how you say that? Come on, Will. Bro, I'm gonna go ahead and say it like you. Come on, Rich.
Hey, I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Man, listen. Lamar ain't the goal right now. This would be a major collapse or upset if the Steelers were to win this game. It's Super Bowl or bust for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like everybody contenders right now, but they really, really contenders. Yep. You were built to win this thing. So I'm going to Ravens.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going with the Ravens as well. I think The trickery that Pittsburgh had is kind of over. It's going to be a good game, but I think Baltimore still pulls it out. All right, so next games we have is on Sunday. We got 3 games on Sunday. First game up at 1 o'clock is Denver against Buffalo, playing in Buffalo. I already know
Buffalo.
so we're gonna skip past that one. Next game is 4:30 game, Green Bay, Philadelphia in Philadelphia.
Philly.
You sure?
Philly is out.
Yeah.
Jair Alexander is out too. Philly, not even close.
Yeah, Jalen is back too.
I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
Ooh,
I'm going with Green Bay.
Is that a new weed? That's a new strain of weed you smoking?
Hey,
It's gotta be.
Hey,
that must be something.
remember, anything can happen.
Not this weekend.
Hey, just remember.
All right. Our most impressive game, I already know where Corey going is against Tampa. So, what y'all got, Rich and Will?
Well, my mom's a Commanders fan. She's no longer here. I think she's gonna shine down on them boys, and Jaden Daniels is gonna carve up that Tampa Bay defense. I'm going to Commanders by 14.
I can't make a decision because it's gonna be a good game. I
Before
seriously
you
can't.
pick Kelly, I'm gonna just go ahead and say because you put your mom in this and the Lord in this, make sure you whatever. God don't like ugly. He don't intervene and stuff like this. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. We already know one now.
I can't call it.
You gotta call it, bro. Call it.
Oh, fuck.
You can text me. You ain't gotta tell.
Nah, hell no.
Please don't call Will, because I'm gonna laugh so hard. Stop rocking.
Oh man.
It's okay, Will. You can go ahead and say it.
I'm gonna just wait. How about that? I can't wait.
What are you waiting on? Only got one more game.
Shit, man.
Only got one more game.
It's gonna be a good game. I don't fucking
Yeah,
know.
it's gonna be a good game.
For the Bucks.
Flip a coin. Flip a coin.
Oh, fuck it.
It's
I'm
gonna
going
be a
with
good game for the Bucks. So you might as well go and roll with the Commanders.
Who is it?
I'm going to roll with Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, I'm rolling with you.
Oh boy.
You gonna smoke it with me too.
I ain't gonna trip. I think it, like I said before, it's gonna be a really good game. But I think it's gonna come down to a good 4-quarter game. And I'm gonna put some chips on that young fella out of Washington. But I won't be surprised if Tampa pull it out either. So that's
Hey,
just
just give me that money.
Just give you the money.
Just go and give it to me, man.
I owe Greg some money, so I need to call him up and see how much I owe him. I forgot how much we bet who gonna make the playoffs, and he made it and we didn't. So anyway, Monday night game, 8 o'clock, Minnesota against the Rams. That's a trick game right there.
I think so too, man.
Oh, man.
They playing in LA too.
Man, they got some good damn games coming. Damn, this gonna
That's
be
a
crazy.
hard one, man. That's
Why
that's
y'all
a hard
thinking?
one.
Of course,
Hey,
I ain't gotta think that hard.
Damn.
I got my pick too. I'm going Minnesota.
I'm gonna go out on a limb again, man, and say Puka Nacua have 200 receiving yards and the Rams win.
I'm gonna say Minnesota.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I chose Minnesota because of how much they got embarrassed against Detroit. Because whoever wins that game plays against Detroit.
Okay.
Oh, that's great, Kendra. Who we're talking about? Which game is that? Oh, the LA game. Yeah, that's unfortunate because of the fires and stuff. So now it'd be on a neutral stadium and neutral turf.
What's up, Kendra?
Right.
That's the good Philly fan right there.
Philly.
Philly in the house. Thanks for watching us.
Yeah, even if they play in Arizona, I'm still going with
Minnesota?
No, LA. I'm going with LA.
LA's been
I'm going with
LA.
LA. Well,
LA.
okay. We got all the picks in, man. This was the first episode of the new season. I think it was a great show, man. Does anybody have any parting words before we actually skedaddle and get to, our normally service business?
Hey, shout out to Evans for getting that money. So
Shout out to all them boys that got that money,
true.
for those bonuses, include, Cortland Sutton, with Denver and stuff. Shout out for all those boys and the coaches too, the coaches and other players that made that happen. Because they could have been some haters, could have been some haters out there. But shout out to all of them though, man. But man, I wish you guys a continued great 2025, man. Hopefully we can actually get some more viewers. If Kim, what's her name? Kim still there? Hopefully tell all your friends, get all your homegirls to come watch us, support us. And let's make this thing bigger this year, man, than it was for 2024 and take off. And hopefully we can get some endorsements. I'll do a beer endorsement. So if y'all listen to me, I'll even do PBR. Because y'all don't got no black folks on there. That's the DEI hire, baby.
You ever been affected by being a Panthers fan? You too may be entitled to compensation. You gonna be
That's good.
That's a good
one, man.
He was down there drinking that water at the Camp of June.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah. Lejeune said,
man,
y'all get y'all money yet?
What's that?
Y'all get y'all money yet from that Lejeune water settlement?
That's Will and Rich older than me. So
yeah.
Oh.
But I wasn't down there doing that time frame though.
Wait, man. No, I was not down there.
you see how that gray hair got on his face. Like old black Santa Claus on his face.
Shit, the only thing I got was for them damn that hearing protection.
Just speaking of hearing, my ears is ringing right now. God dang it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all put your name in the hat for that, but
yeah, I got that.
Me too. I was like, Biggie, give me the loop. Give me the loop.
But that was a good show, fellas. Good show.
All right, fellas.
All right.
Peace out.